Hi guys, welcome back. We are on part 3 of our boutique series. Now, what we are doing is we are walking through the steps, showing you kind of step by step when it comes to creating a t-shirt boutique, more specifically for an e-commerce setup. Now, what we're going to do today is I am going to take you behind the scenes, show you my setup. It's not 100% clean, but you're going to get a taste of realness. But what I'm also going to do is show you how to take what I have currently done and then spin it more for a production atmosphere. So let's go on this joyride and show you my space. So before we get started, there's a couple of things that I want to go over just because I have been in about every space of my house. Well, just about every free space of my house. So the first thing first, I have worked out of a dining room. I have worked in the basement. I have worked in another bedroom upstairs, which is now utilized by my youngest. And now I'm back upstairs that I have taken over our guest bedroom to officially turn it into my office / recording studio area for Stahls. Now, I understand not everybody may have a spare bedroom, so keep in mind the square footage I'm going to go over with you could pretty much be set up in any place that you have extra space, or if you don't have a lot of extra space, just take how I have organized some things and then utilize it for how it benefits you the best. So currently I am in a 12.5 by 10 foot bedroom. I have a window, we've got the door next to me, and I actually have a wall right here that is only half painted, currently has an unused TV on it, and could really be utilized in a little bit better way. But right now we're adjusting and growing as we go. So with that being said, I have several parts that are movable. The only thing that is, well, not really movable at this point are these grid walls that are installed, which you can see are now holding some material for me. We'll go over that in just a minute. But before we really break down why I have things where I have it and how to spin it for you, I'm going to give you a quick 360 tour of my room and the bathroom because I'm using the closet in there for storage as well. So let's spin the camera. Now currently I am in the corner of my room. So the door is right there. You're actually going to see the ring light before you see the door. This is where you normally see all footage that is being shot, where my heat press is, of course my desk, and a fairly clean desk but still looks like a mess on camera, boxes that I am prepping for some trade shows, and then of course we hit the wall with the 360, or excuse me, not the 360, the GS24 on the stand, which I'll show you, and a couple of other bookshelves / hold random things. So this is almost a 360 view of my current layout. Now, because there isn't really an easy way for me to show you the entire spot, I will do it in sections and then just kind of walk you through everything there. This is the bathroom area. I know this is a little weird that I'm showing you a bathroom, but as you can see, this is currently housing some product that has already been decorated. That's actually a blanks box. And then this is where I house other things. So we've got boxes down there with pretty much 1 cut yards, or 1 yard cuts. We've got glitter flake. I have reorganized this per box to either be specialty with glitter flake, and then we go into thermofilm, fashion film electric, sport film light, some other premium plus. So I've tried to make this as organized as possible, and those are just boxes that I have received from vinyl, so I am repurposing those. We've got some blanks right there. These are garments that I have made that I continuously use for other videos, or I just really like how they turned out, so I've held on to them. And then of course you can see I have more storage which house some transfers. Now some of these, you guys, I have had since I have been with Stahls. I did go through that the other day and there are several empty. And then this is still a closet within my house that I use for other things. So that's not the prettiest. But just to give you an idea on how I am repurposing a closet, that is what we have. I really should take down that bar and get some more space out of that. I just haven't done it yet. So here is the view into the office, and let's head back that way. Here's the lovely wall that I said still needs some love to be updated. And then we will spin it to more of the recording space, and we are going to break that down in just a second. And then of course spins over to my office again. So let's go back and really talk about this section. Now what you see on the wall are two 2x4 grid walls. We are utilizing them to help store vinyl. Those are heavy rolls. Those are a CAD Cut soft foam on the left and CAD Cut glitter flake on the right. Both of those are 20-inch rolls, and they are a little bit harder for me to store, which is why I have decided to put them on the wall. Now we could have fit one more grid wall right in the middle of that, but I do plan to put some shelving there because there are other things that need to be stored, or, you know, for video purposes, make it look a little prettier. Now that table right in front is actually a table I used as a changing table for my daughter and for my son. When we were done with diapers, my husband put wheels on it, and now I can move it all throughout my space. If I don't need the table can be wheeled to another section, or if I need to reposition the table, then I can do that as well. Something like that has been extremely beneficial for me, as I have stored vinyl on each of those shelves. Right now they're currently holding hats and some smaller platens, and as you can see, that is where my Silhouette Cameo has a home. The beautiful thing about that shelf is that it's high enough to where I can actually cut from that lower section, or if I would like, I can also move that Cameo onto that table. Next, you'll see the 360 IQ hat press, and then you also see that I have the auto clam on a table. Now I'm going to show you this section in just a minute, but what is beautiful about this space is that everything can be repositioned. All right, so now that you have somewhat seen my space, let me tell you how to make this work for a production environment. This table is excellent because once you are done cutting, you can come up here, you can weed, you can trim anything you need down, and then you can take it over to the heat press, and once those items are done, you can put it back on the table. Here you can organize your blanks, you can organize your transfers, pull, place on the heating element or your heat press, whatever you are using, and then take off and of course set aside. Now, one thing that I would take into consideration is having a little bit larger table if possible. Everybody has a different space and everybody has a different working environment. If you are really restricted on what you have the ability to put in your house, in your production environment, your garage, wherever, I really urge you to take into consideration about levels. Here, like I said, I can move my Cameo, I can put it on top. Because it's so portable, I could even take it to the bathroom for storage. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that this GS24 is also on wheels. So if I'm needing to do something with the GS24, I can move it, set it up, and really create a workflow. So here we're cutting with the cutter. From there, taking it to the table, weeding, doing what we need to, and then taking it to the press. With this, your production time should speed up. Why? Because we have now created a really tight workflow that allows you to go from one place to the next without changing levels in your house or without going from one corner to the next. This speeds up the entire process. Now, if you are also able to have a couple of tables that allow you to wheel around, that's also another really easy way to kind of set up the flow when it comes to production. If you have the capability to have a larger press, great. Always account that you still need to be able to have a working space. If you plan on not cutting and not weeding a thing and you're only ordering in transfers, then that eliminates a larger or industrial size cutter. Maybe you house this only when you need it, meaning the Cameo. And then of course, there should be plenty of working space unless you're like me and you like to have multiple places for organization just to kind of keep your mind at ease. Now that we have kind of gone over an easy setup, keep in mind, I said my space is a 12 by 10.5. So we are only utilizing a very, very small portion right here where my office or work area with the computer is all behind the camera, which you just can't see. Now, when it comes to storage, if you can take things off of the ground onto the walls, here's a couple of reasons why this is excellent. You're not stacking your vinyl on top of each other like you saw in the closet. It's easier to grab. You can space it accordingly. You could do each grid wall with a specific material. That way you're always able to see what you have in stock or what you're low on and what you need to reorder prior to that next job happening. These are excellent ways that keep your space clutter and clean free as possible. And I say that lightly because I did have to move some things around to make it look, camera presentable. So, as you're setting up your space, try to create a workflow area to go from cutting to weeding to then heat applying. From there, you can make a stack on the floor, then ship once you're all done. So now let's take a little bit of a closer look at the equipment or other pieces of hardware furniture that I'm using to help with storage and how I'm staying organized. All right, so for the table, like I said, this was a table that was actually made for me from my uncle, and it was a changing table. This is just a simple 2-shelf table, nothing fancy. Like I said, my husband put the wheels on it and I paint it every once in a while just to give it a clean look. Now what you're seeing here is the stand that I use for the Hotronix autoclam. This is purchased from IKEA, and I will show you a couple of features about that in just a quick second. But the reason why I liked this was that it was a smaller footprint than using the caddy stand that I had previously. It was excellent. It was on rollers. It was easier for me to move around on tile. And when I was in the basement, I had a larger footprint to work with. Now this is stationary. I can't move it unless I take my press off, but that is okay. Now what you see here is there is a wire stand below that I have also purchased from IKEA. It houses a couple of blank items unless, or for some reason I need that when I'm doing a training or an education or going live. And then there are some smaller transfers right above that. And I use that third drawer actually for my electronics, any other stands. I've also got some 360 pads that I need when using flex style or other transfers. You can see that I've housed my platens right next to that, which hide them pretty well in terms of being on camera, but it's nice because they are kind of all in one home and they can stand vertically it's just a really good section. For under 50 bucks, this stand was so great to add, you know, to my equipment. Now, one thing I love is that it does have this drawer, so I am able to put other transfer tools. I've got pillows, just other things that I may need. Now, I'm not able to put my cover sheets in there, specifically the craft paper. They are just too large, but that's okay. I have them stored in another space. I was on the hunt for the perfect desk. I found this one on Wayfair. I do wish that it had a little bit more storage, as you can see right there. That's about all I get for books or anything that needs to stand vertically. However, that entire inner opening is completely open, so I can store my notebooks, any catalogs. I've got some other, you know, office supplies in there. As you can see, I've got 2 shelves on the wall. One helped me personally with my shipping and tagging of my personal boutique site. Those are 2 key things I would say when it comes to shipping and tagging if you barcode anything. Next, you can see that I have a pegboard also purchased from IKEA that houses a planner. You can see our Make It magazine. I've got other magazines and catalogs behind there as well. Invoices for myself and just a storage pocket. I have become addicted to these things at IKEA and I am utilizing them in multiple different spaces. I like monitors and electronics, you guys. I have to have 2 monitors and I just stay organized the best that way. That's a mic in the middle. Because if you've watched my lives, you guys know I have struggled with sound and I think we found the missing link. Next, I want to show you is this wood stand. This is just a wood leaning bookshelf stand that you can see houses random things for me. This is probably one of the most unorganized spots, but that's okay. We are working to make it really just work for myself. I've got my printer, I've got some mugs, tumblers down there, and of course the projects that I'm currently working on are right there as they will be leaving for a trade show. All right, last but not least is the wall that is unfinished. Right now you can see I've got my GS24 fits perfectly right under the unused TV. It does work, I just don't get to watch TV. Next, I have this metal stand. I purchased it from Walmart for $25, $30, and it has done wonders. Now, with this, I have other transfers, especially from Transfer Express in the box. Those pizza boxes are excellent for organizing and storing. I also have other projects above on the top that I'm currently working on, storage for hats, and then this is all of my ultra weed. So you can see that's where I'm currently housing that, and I've got a little bit of storage underneath. Now this wall definitely looks a little chaotic as you see cords, but you don't ever see it in camera, so that's why I have everything stored there. Those are, of course, other rods or stands that I use when I go live. So I do have a pretty unpretty spot right here, but we're still trying to determine what exactly will be here. All right, guys, now that you have seen my entire space, which I still can't believe I'm sharing that as it's not like 100% perfect, but that's just life, right? Now, what I really want to show you is how some of our customers have organized their space. I think this is a great way to show how other people store their material, how small their spaces are, and what they are really able to house in that space and still be successful. Everything doesn't have to be perfectly organized in order for you to be successful. That comes from with what you're capable of going out and getting the customers, producing your items on time, and providing quality work. So take a look at these, and then we'll touch base. Now keep in mind, if you are wanting to record in your space, make sure you set up at 1 to 2 different areas where you can record, where it's as free of clutter as possible. That way people that are watching can really tune in and focus on what you are educating them about. You guys, I hope you've enjoyed this tour, and I hope that it has sparked some creativity in terms of ways to really maximize the square footage that you have, store your material, and I would love to know how you store your material and how big your space is. Share any tips with our viewers down below. Everybody can help each other out. I hope you've enjoyed this. Now stay tuned for part 4. See you guys soon.